Hi, and welcome to Transparent with Tina. I am so glad that you decided to join us today. I have a very, very special guest. We've all heard, or most of us have heard about how dangerous gluten can be. Everything is gluten-free this, gluten-free that. But my guest is going to tell you about two foods that may surprise you that are very debilitating to your health. She is an author of 2 books. She had her own cooking show. She has come out with tons of products, which we're going to get into later. She has entered bikini contests, and when you see her body, and I will tell you her age later, you will see that her eating plan works, and so we're going to just dive right in. Welcome, Nina.
Thank you, Tina. I appreciate it.
Nina and I have been friends for a very, very long time.
Yes,
and
we really have.
We have, and I didn't even say your last name. Can you tell them your last name? Because I'm such a great name.
Cucina, but the company name is Nina Cucina.
Nina Cucina is the company name, but Pacillo is her last name. So we have been friends for a long time. We actually had our own talk shows down here in the desert, and that's when you had your cooking show.
Yes.
And so you're all about food, nutrition, working out, okay?
Yes.
And I know that you've been around food your whole life because your parents had a restaurant. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. So when did you get really, really serious and passionate about nutrition and the foods that you consume?
I would say, I've always known, like you said, a lot about food. I grew up in this restaurant that was very gourmet. It was Spanish, Italian, and French, so I could make just about anything. And my parents really instilled in me the importance of fresh, real, live food. But I didn't really get hugely into the health aspects, and you know how micro-focused I am now.
Oh, yes.
I didn't become that way really until I met my husband, Roger.
Which was how many years ago?
17 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And when I had met him, I had just finished an Olympic triathlon. So I was in pretty decent shape. He was overweight. He had some blood work issues. And Roger, as you know, is 19 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So
we might as well tell your age now.
I'm 56, and Roger's 75.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to make a decision. They are the basis of our lifestyles were very different. Obviously,
How so?
Well, I was in shape. He was overweight, although he did go to the gym and he still does. Mm-hmm. But the eating thing was much different.
What was he eating?
Different. I would say pretty much anything he wanted at that point. Roger's a very successful businessman, and he started from very meager beginnings. And I think that especially men with those types of statistics really feel that they deserve something, and they do.
We all think of food as a reward,
Correct.
But you know what? It takes a while to change your palate around. You know as well as I do, right? It's a learning curve, and then your palate does change, right?
Absolutely does. Things that you thought were normally sweet when you were eating unhealthily, once you get into the healthy lifestyle pattern, they taste sickly sweet.
Exactly.
So, it's a mindset shift.
Yes.
And I'm preaching to the choir as I say this to you as a life coach. It starts with changing the way that you think about food, about yourself, and how you want to feed yourself. And, we feed ourselves every day. We feed ourselves food, we feed ourselves information, and those two things could be good or bad. That will completely change our health and thus our lives.
I've had 3 clients this last week that were feeling depressed.
Uh-huh.
How much do you think that has to do with food?
A tremendous amount. In fact, there's a lot of documentation on it.
Mm-hmm.
Inflammatory foods promote depression. And if you have, there are people that are born into families that have depressive tendencies. If that person were my client, I would be recommending massive amounts of vitamin D to them. Vitamin D really is an antidepressant. And guess what? 90% of the people in the United States are deficient. So that's just one small, itty bitty little dietary hint.
Right. So massive amounts.
Yes, 10,000 international units per day. And that's what I take myself. As you know, I travel a lot. I'm in contact with a lot of people all the time. I can't afford to get sick because I am in contact with food. So I make sure that my immune system is strong. Vitamin D helps with, hundreds of things in your body.
So many things that we could be talking about today, but we're going to narrow in on two foods that are really dangerous to your body. Okay. So one of them is grain.
Correct.
Tell us what grain does.
Grain is super inflammatory. In fact, anything that turns to sugar in your body is going to inflame your body. Now, again, going back to you as a life coach, as you know, you can have inflammatory thoughts.
Yes.
And you can feed yourself inflammation quite easily. You can eat the standard American diet. You can have inflammatory thoughts, anger, self-hatred, etc.
Yes.
All cause inflammation.
Yes.
Grain across the board causes inflammation. The worst ones are, we know about the wheat story.
Yes.
Everybody is coming down with celiac disease, which is an autoimmune disease. So your body is attacking itself. Celiac is a big deal. It's not just, I can't tolerate wheat anymore. It's a big deal. Friends and clients of mine that have celiac disease, if they come in contact with wheat, even secondarily, they can land in the hospital. What I mean by secondarily, let's say they they eat a grain-free cookie someplace, and that cookie was made in a facility that also processes wheat. They're sick.
They're that, okay.
Okay, that's how sensitive people have become, and that is coming from the inflammatory factor of the grain wheat itself.
Which is the main concern in most disease, correct? Inflammation.
Inflammation is the number one cause of worldwide disease, chronic inflammation. You name it, cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, you name it.
Right.
All the bad stuff, heart,
yes.
All of it is caused by every person that has any one of those diseases has a chronic inflammatory problem. So the first thing that we want to do is get rid of inflammatory stuff that we're putting into our mouths.
So wheat would be?
A lot of stuff that we as Americans eat. We eat a very carbohydrate-rich diet. So if you think about the way that carbohydrates break down in the body, they break down into simple sugars. Simple sugars raise the inflammatory factors in your body. That's why people like to go on low-carb diets, because they're trying to reduce their inflammatory factor and they're trying to lose weight. The more inflammation you have in your body, the harder it is to do all kinds of things. Move around, lose weight, gain muscle, all kinds of things.
So it's more difficult to gain muscle if you're ingesting grains too.
For me, it certainly was. I tried at my first show, I don't eat grain. So I was trying to eat quinoa, which is not a grain, a seed, but grain-like. It has a very similar protein structure to wheat. Now, I haven't eaten wheat in 17 years. I tried eating quinoa because my coach said you need carbohydrates for energy and to build muscle, et cetera, et cetera. So I tried this. Oh, my word. Now, talk about bloated belly. I was miserable for 3 days. And that comes from the fact that at this point, my digestive system doesn't know what to do with it. Because
it's just intolerant to anything that has that protein kind of structure. I see.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, so let's talk about the second food, which really blew my mind when you told me, I think it was in May, you told me about rice. And that it has...
Rice is a grain.
It contains arsenic?
That's correct. There's something pretty much wrong with every single grain that you can mention. Okay, so let's start with rice. Rice has arsenic in it naturally. It's not rice's fault. It's in the groundwater. It's always been there. It's just not talked about. Some of it is organic and some of it's inorganic. And, some people have a hard time purifying it out of their bodies. Okay, so that's rice.
Mm-hmm.
Soy, genetically modified. 90% of the soy in this country is genetically modified. You probably shouldn't be eating soy anyway unless it's fermented. Fermented soy is okay as long as it's not genetically modified.
What would fermented soy, what would that be?
Real soy sauce or tempeh, soybean that has been fermented. I don't eat it, but or miso is also fermented soy.
Yes, miso is good. Somebody said to me the other day when I mentioned this, they said, well, what about the people in Asia? They live on rice and they live a very long time.
No, they don't. Not all of them live a very long time. There's a huge cancer rate in Japan, probably mostly from smoking. And you have to understand the way that the Asian person thinks about food is completely and totally different than the way that the American person, we're polar opposites in this. The Asian person thinks to eat enough to just stop the stomach from growling. So if you've ever seen anything on like the Food Network or any of the travel channels, you see this little itty bitty bowl of rice with vegetables and a little bit of meat. But the bowl is literally, it could fit in the palm of my hand. Really, they don't eat a lot. We as Americans, we overeat. We're a hungry group. We eat a lot of carbohydrate, breaks down into sugar. Our blood sugar then drops. So what do? We eat some more. So there is a huge differential. The amount of poison that we're putting into our bodies is far greater than most other people in the world, but certainly greater than the Asian population.
Right.
But both China and Japan have some pretty big cancer issues.
You were also saying that the brown rice was so much better than white rice, and now I'm hearing that white rice is actually better than the brown rice. Is that true?
I wouldn't eat any rice. I don't eat rice, period, the end.
Well, it's also the heavy metals. So it's not only inflammatory, but it's got a lot of heavy metals in rice.
Well, heavy metals, arsenic is heavy metal, and arsenic is inflammatory. You want to keep your toxic load low, because every time we go outside in the pollution and everything else, all the cleaning fluids, all the petroleum products that are in our cosmetics, you are out there and you are a woman, read your ingredients.
Right.
Because there's a lot of horrible stuff out there.
People don't realize that. They think if they're not ingesting it through their mouth, but you know what? Your skin is the largest organ. Whatever you're putting on your body. I mean, when I got cancer, there was three, I don't remember the names of it. There was 3 different ingredients that were all cancer causing. And I think I had to throw half my toiletries out.
Yes.
I haven't taken it to the extent that you have with makeup. I mean, moisturizer, serums, things like that, have not made the switch to makeup, which you have. By the way, Nina, on your website, don't you have products like this that you support, that people can actually, if they go to your website, they can look at?
I used to. I've recently rebuilt my website, actually just a couple weeks ago, and I have taken that off.
Okay. All right.
I've chosen to only address the food on the website, and private clients that I counsel, we get into that much later, because usually the food thing is such a big thing.
First and foremost. Okay, so I think this is a perfect time to just dive in. For those of you that are thinking, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to not have breads anymore or cookies or things like that. That's why I'm doing this show. Nina has created a line of cookies, donuts, bagels, waffles, right? Tell us about your products.
I started with Nina's Paleo Bagels, as you know.
Yes.
I have 3 flavors. A 4th is going to come out for the season, for the holiday season. So we have sesame, we have cinnamon raisin, and we have everything spice. The one that's coming out is cranberry orange. That's for the holiday season. It'll be probably next week, the week after. They are very good for you. They're made with almond flour, flaxseed meal, egg white protein, nutritional yeast, eggs, sparkling water. I mean, they're very, very simple.
So in one bagel, you get how many carbohydrates and how many grams of protein?
In the two that are not sweet, you get 20 grams of protein, about 5 net carbs. The glycemic load is 1, which means your blood sugar will not elevate for a long time, which is a good thing. You want to keep your blood sugar stable throughout the day. That's when you will feel your best. You'll feel optimal health is what we're trying to get to. That's what the journey we're trying to make here. The 2 sweet ones have a few more carbs, of course, because they have dried fruit in them. They're about 16 net carbs, so their glycemic load is about 8, also very low. What we're trying to do at Nina Cucina is offer folks stuff that's naughty or they think is naughty and make it nice.
Yes.
So
talking about your mindset. Every time I go to reach for one of your bagels, I'm like, because I'm so programmed to thinking that's a cheat thing for me.
Right. Exactly.
And now I go, let me tell you something. I've had them for breakfast. I've had them for lunch. I've even had it as for a side of dinner. Like when I'm still hungry after maybe a salad or something, I have one and I don't feel guilty about it. And so tell us about
20 grams of protein and it has 1,610 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids.
Right, so exactly, which a lot of people don't get enough of.
No, another thing that everybody's deficient in.
Right, and that's optimal for your brain, correct?
Right. Your brain, your heart, your skin, it will help you grow muscle. It'll help you lose fat. It slows down the absorption of sugar.
Anti-aging, this all helps with anti-aging. Everybody, we all want to look our best, but there's the exterior and the interior. I mean, you've got to pay attention to both.
That's
absolutely. Right. So then the next product you had was?
We went from the bagel to a waffle.
Yes.
Because, I started asking people, okay, what is it that you can't eat that you want to eat?
Right.
And the first thing was bagels. Bagels I was never that enamored with bagels, even when I was eating grain. I mean, it was a once in a while thing. But
I love bagels.
I could not believe the outpouring when I asked this on social media. Mm-hmm. Bagels, 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 bagels. So the next thing was waffles. Like, waffles? When was the last time I had waffles?
That wouldn't be something that I would.
Yeah, the cookies. Yeah, you want those paleo chocolate chip cookies, I know.
Yeah, exactly.
They're really delicious. They're absolutely dairy free too, so which is nice. There's no butter in them.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And
then donuts, you were saying.
Yes, we just started with a donut. Oh, and I didn't tell you about the pumpkin spice cake with apple pumpkin spice cake. Oh,
I saw that on Instagram.
That's a really good one too.
So that would be like perfect for the morning.
That's right. It's a little breakfast cake. 325 calories. Yeah, nice.
Nice. And so, Nina, I know you divide your time between Reno and the desert here. Now, how do people, are you in stores? Where can they purchase all of your products?
Primarily now, we are on my website, ninacucina.com, and then on motherofmacros.com, which is a fantastic woman-owned meal prep delivery service.
Okay.
Who I've partnered with. I'm one of her recipe developers. I'm her main recipe developer for all things breakfast and dessert. And she has a great following. You can find us there too. In fact, I'm doing keep your eyes open on that website. I'm doing a lot of really cool development for her right now.
Okay. And what is your handle on Instagram so people can follow you on Instagram too?
Nina Cucina, at Nina Cucina.
Okay. So you definitely want that. I'm going to have all the information below, so you don't have to memorize this. You are offering an incentive on your product. So if you mention the promo word Tina10, then you will get a surprise. Are you coaching people now too? Are you open for?
Yes, I am.
So the best way to get a hold of you is through your website?
It's through my website or on Instagram or on Facebook. Or simply, my cell phone number is on my website. I'm transparent, just like you are, Tina.
Exactly.
They can just call or text me.
Well, amazing. I hope that you all enjoyed the show. If you have any comments, any questions, leave them below. Email me, email Nina, and we are here to answer any questions and help in any way we can. So thanks for being on the show, and I will see you in about a month.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, I'll see you soon.